All right, looks like I am streaming now. All my streaming setup ended up getting lost, so I'm just double checking that I have everything up. It looks like I do. All right, where do I go for this one? Live. It's not loading. That's weird. Whatever the case, I'll click on it again in a minute just to see what happens. But in the meantime, oh, I never set the icon, did I? No, I think I did. Whatever. All right, so my objective right now is that I have the best times for this stuff being stored, and I need it to load back up now. So the best times are stored with the save state of the game. So let's go stop. Also, I've got this message that I don't want it to keep popping up because that's showing up a lot. I don't need these debug states to show up as much because we have found out the reason why it was erroring before. Those were temporary to find solution or to find out why something was not working. Anything else? Debug logs. Let's get rid of that one. Okay, cool. Race end, did I have anything there? No. Let's see. Car driver, nothing. Race end menu. Anything special here? Labeling, no debug logs. Traffic, race start. Same. Okay, I think that's all of them. Oh, car action. That usually has, not car action. Where is it? Well, whatever. We're going to the save load system because now we need to load those IDs back up. All right. To begin with, we have load happening, and there's effectively 2 points of information where that happens. By the time that we load, I think all of the scene, all of the objects for or the race starts will already be loaded in. So that means we need to find the IDs of them, and as we're loading the file back up. Yeah, let's go with that route because all the objects should be there. The entire game is built out of one scene. The menus, everything are inside that one scene, so it's all loaded at the beginning. I don't need this information. Oh yeah, we're trying to save the unique ID, and that was working now. At least it just started working. Okay, we have errors. This error is supposed to be there. This is a safety net for us, but we are saving the records into game.racestartbests and racestartgoods. So this creates a save game. Now I need to load the game back up. So let's go find the load game. Here's load. All right, we find the JSON, we get the JSON. Now we are going through all the cubes that are in there, all the freight. And next, I need to go through each one of the best scores. And let's start taking a look at this. So for this one is going to go through game dot, what is this one? Race start goods dot count. There's a ding. Hot water. All right, excellent. Good time for some hot cocoa. There. All right, and this goes in. Okay, so now we're going through each one of the GUIDs that are in here, and we're going to need the positions as well. But the GUIDs are the first part that we need. We have the I and we have the GUID, so let's get the GUID out. Actually, we can keep referencing the GUID inside of the same point in memory because we would have already pulled it into the cache. So let's just use that. We could create another one, but that creates a duplicate variable in the cache where we could potentially start pushing out more data we will use again. So let's skip that part. Game dot Uh, all right, so we need the game. We need to check each one of the objects in the race. Car race. So this dot player car. I need the car race. So let's get the car race right before this. Var race equals this dot player car dot get component, and the component type is car race. There. Now we should trust that the player car has it because it's a requirement for the player car right now. All right. So now this dot player car, it's not player car, it is race dot, and in this case I want to go through each one of them. So we're going to say for int I equals, and the upper bounds is going to be race starts dot count. Ideally, those counts should match, except for when the save file doesn't line up. For instance, when I'm editing this and still creating new ones. All right, so we have the race starts dot count, and now we're going to say public race equals this dot player car. No. All right, if, which one is this? Game dot race start goods, and in this one we need I equals, and in this case we need the goods from race equals race dot race starts j dot unique ID. Okay, so we found a match, and in this case then we're going to say game dot race start goods I dot, is that the right one? Why do I not see any of the specials? It's not race start goods. Race dot race starts j dot, and in this one best time equals, now I need game dot race start bests I. Okay, that's it, and then continue. No, we break out of this one because we found the cycle where we've matched up the game, or the race starting good, so we don't need to loop through any more of the race starts. Not for that round anyway. All right, that sets them all. Now, if we don't find them, I don't really care to report that. We'll just leave it as is. It's only when it finds a match that it's going to put them in there. Save it. So theoretically, that should save and load now. Okay, so actually, given this, if I start it over again, if I click the load button, it should correct the timing. I don't have anything at the start of the race tell me whether or not I actually have anything lined into it. If I have any best score. So I need best time to be shown at the beginning. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we got this in here, just made the updates now. All right, clear the list. Now let's go to race UI start. Race start uses this object. Move stuff over a bit so I get that whole thing in the view. There, that should do. Okay, so race start, and then, yeah, race start, I want the timing to show up here. So let's actually grab the element from the other one first. So we've got the UI over here, which is at, let's go for race end. Expand that out, there. Best. So I'm going to click in here. What's the parent element? Timer panel. Copy. All right, I want best to show up in here. Where is the text? No, I want the other one. Race.start. There. Now inside of this one, let's go click that. So I get the starting element and we got visual elements up here. So now let's put it here and paste. Okay. Or would this go better at the bottom? No, I think that worked better at the top. How about closer to this? Start race, best score. Eh. Let's duplicate this and put it in between these two. Okay, we got best. Can I align this one to the middle? So if I go to timer panel and then let's go to alignment, can I say middle? That's not exactly the middle. Position, display, position, relative. Let's expand the left side to about there. Sure. Okay, I think that'll work. So now I need to adjust this one. What is the text field? This is label timer best. All right, label timer best. Save it. Go back to the scene view, and inside of race start, race start, I'm going to go into the code base. Do I have the code base up already somewhere? No, I don't see it. All right, there we go. Car start, race start, race start. There we go. All right, so inside of this one, we have best time. I need the label for this. So it's going to be public label timer best. Label timer best. Alt enter. Okay, I think that did what I wanted to do. UI elements, that should be it. Label timer best. Now I need to gather that information, which awake should be fine. So this .ui document. Hey. No. This is the wrong one. Incorrect spot. Get rid of this, not needed. I need the UI element for this one. What was it called? That's right here. Race start menu. Excellent. That's what I'm looking for. Now I need the label. Public label. Label timer best. All right, I think that's what it's called, so let's continue with that. Now, inside of here, I should be getting the UI elements, the visual roots right there. So inside of this one, we're now going to say label timer best equals this .ui document .root visual element .q label name equals, and inside of this one is going to be label timer best. Now, I should double check to make sure that that's what I actually put. Let's go back to the code for just a second, into the UI builder, and I called it label timer best. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Now, back into here, we have the label timer best that needs to get initialized. So inside of this, when we have start race, no, show UI. Here we go. So show UI. Do we have information about the race? Do we have the start, for instance? How do we identify that this has moved on? Action performed, start race, resume action. Let's say that we click the start race function. Here's show UI. Oh, we include the race start right here when we show the UI. This is the place to put it. So this dot label timer best dot text equals, and now I need the way to write that format. So in there I have the end menu where I was doing formatting. Let's find where the formatting is. Wasn't I doing formatting here? Show UI, we set the values. Show you, there we go. Control C. We do call it something else, so we'll fix that here. Equals. Now let's get rid of the extra one. there. And then current time comes from race start dot best time. All right, equals this. Next. Okay, so we set the label to the best time. Now we've got the record showing up at the beginning. So let's go play. To begin with, best time should show up identifier expected. Is this broken? Scripts have compiler errors. Okay, reload finish. It's happy with it now. Now let's hit enter. Nope, back in, click in the game, enter. Okay, so I have 0. I have nothing loaded right now. It's a brand new game instance. Let's see what I got in here for this one. Best time is 0. Nothing has been set for it yet. Best time is 0. Why is it 0? Best time was never set. Okay, there is no best time yet. All right, so let's hit escape. Oh, Z. Z is what exits out of the race. Okay, now I want to load the state. So let's go load game. Whoa. Oh, yeah, my position was updated. All right, so now that I'm inside of here, let's go back to this. And now start the race. Best time is still 0. Is that accurate? If I go over to, let's just make sure, because maybe it's not being set. So inside of here, let's go to save load. No, I want the UI. Which one is this? Why does this change the names? Is there a newer version of Unity out? Something that maybe resolves that? Because that is a pain in the butt. Okay, installs. 6.4.6f. Is that what I'm running right now? That's what I'm already running. Oh, click install editor. 4.6, that's already installed. Supported, recommended. Wait, supported and recommended is not the same as LTS. 6.4 is not in LTS. I don't want to go back a version. So I'm going to leave this as is. We'll keep dealing with it. But I assume this is beta. Well, no, it would usually say beta. But anyway, it says we're not LTS. I thought that was. Okay, we'll leave it. All right, start race, cancel. The best does not show up in there. Now, let's go to the actual starting position, which is race start. Do we have a best in here? Best time is this huge, massive number. So obviously, it's not setting the value. It's still set as max. Wait a minute. So max should have shown up with this massive number that would make no sense. But I don't get that one. That implies to me that I'm not actually changing the value of it. So let's go back over into code for a second. Restart. Is restart what I want? Oh, the code's not compiling. There's missing code in here. Like, hot reload, what are you doing? Everything is great. You loaded it. It's all fine. There's no errors showing up in here because you're taking responsibility for it. Yeah, not happy with that hot reload. If it's not compiling, tell me. I want to know. All right. So in this one, the locator, we need to find the value. Oh, but whatever. This was not the spot. That was where I have an error. Are you going to try reloading? Okay, you just did that. Now you say you're happy again. Let's see what happy actually means here. Okay, so best time, I have the race start selected. We have best time showing plus 38. That's float.max. Start and float.max, still the same. Now, Vigilante load game. Still the same best time. Do we get some other error? Thread aborted. Let's go stop. I want to check all of the save times that are in here. So on this one, I am going to report the best time. So let's go debug.log race plus, let's see, in this one, race plus, and now this one I need game.raceStartGUIDs I dot toString plus best time equals plus, and now we need to get the best time. And that one is game dot race start bests I. Okay, that should log the new information, so I should see the record of anything that it finds that matches up. It might not get an error if the GUIDs just don't match. So let's take a look. Over here we have the save file, race start best. Race start best has no plus, no e plus, whatever, so no exponential, or no exponent. And then we've got a time of 2.28 seconds. All right, so it's got the information, and we do have the GUID, and the GUID is not zeros, so that should match up. It gets a 0FB for the numbers. My unique ID changed. Why did my unique ID change? I didn't make a change to it. That's a problem. If the unique ID didn't change, why is this? Okay, what triggers the unique ID change? That's a designer if the value is empty. What does value empty imply? So let's go into the code for this race start. We should have editor code. Where's the editor code? Oh, is that on this side? There it is, race start. So if unique ID is empty, what does empty imply? What does IntelliSense say? IntelliSense doesn't say anything. OU, 0U. Oh, unsigned. Wait a minute, which type is that? I assume that's unsigned int. So 0 unsigned int. So it's just validating that all the values are 0. All right. However, I haven't seen the capital U as one of the writeouts on this one. So I just want to do a check on that. C# number 0U. Difference between 0 and 0U. Okay, uint. It's an unsigned integer, 32-bit integer. So I ever have to say 5U instead of just 5, because 5 is, you're doing an implicit conversion, or you're doing a conversion. You're not establishing it as the type to begin with. But I would assume that the compiler would actually detect the type that it is and use that type properly. But maybe not. Okay, whatever. Let's move that down to there. All right, what have we got? That one is empty. So empty is checking to see if the values are 0. And if it is 0, then it sets the ID at that point on inspector GUI. So that saves it. It should mark that it's saved. Okay. Anyway, so I haven't been pulling up the save because there hasn't been anything to pull up, or there hasn't been anything matching. Now, in this one, do I want to mark that I save it? So let's go, what is that? Scriptable? This is not scriptable information. I need utility. It's one of the utilities. Editor utility? Dot. This one should only be operating in the editor anyway. So what is it? I want it to mark dirty. There we go. Set dirty. Start. Okay. So we make sure that the value is marked that this has changed because maybe that wasn't being captured before. All right, let's go back into here and I'm just going to have to make a new time. So let's go play. Does it compile? Can I trust hot reload that it actually did its job? Enter. Turning. Enter. Okay, best time. Look at that. Huge amount of information out there. Why is it? Because if nothing's ever used it, it is float.max. Okay, got it. So that needs to change. I do need a special case for that. So let's go down to here. Where is that? Where do I actually display it? That's in the UI. Race start menu. Race start menu. There we got it. If race start dot best time equals float dot max, doesn't equal float dot max, then we're going to do this one. If it does, then we want the same thing equals n/a. Never completed. Okay, back to Unity. Okay, so when best time is float.max, then we should end up getting no ID up here. Or we should get a, was it never completed? That one probably won't show up well. Enter. Never com. Okay. Let's go back to here. Can I make the change? This should be able to make the change while it's still running. Incomplete. Is that short enough? Should be. Maybe not. We'll find out. Okay. Now on this one, we're going to back out of there, run into it again. Incomplete. That's still a little bit on the long side. N/a. All right. Z to get out, and then enter to get back in. N/NA. Best. Unknown. Unknown might be better. I'm spending a lot of time just fixing some text. Unknown. This is not a big deal. As long as this one fits, then I'm going to take it. Otherwise, NA is going to be it. All right. And enter. Perfect. Okay, that fills the space nicely. Now, enter. We're going to start the race. Good. We got a time set. All right. Enter. That's the time. The map went away just as we were expecting. Enter. 162. We've got the best time stored. All right. Z to get out of that. And then let's go Vigilante, save game. Stop. play again. So now that I'm going into here, the time should start out at 0, and then when I load it, it should reset to the 1.62. Okay, right now it's float.max. That's what I can see over there. So double checking that everything will work as expected. I want to actually see the final result. All right, enter. Time unknown. Exactly what I was hoping for, exactly what was expected at this point. Good. Now I'm going to do Vigilante load game. Okay, that's where I left off when I loaded it. Okay, enter. Best time 1.662. Perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. With that, that completes this task. However, I do want to just change one more thing about this. We're going to go over to here. Okay, and now let's, from this one, that's right. I need the race start and I need the angle. So Control Shift F, that's going to align to where I am now. So if I back up just a little, there. Now, save it, play it. I want to make sure that that angle, when I get into there and start the race, shows the end point. All right, starting. All right, so I'm pointing away just a little bit. I want to still see over in this corner that, like right now, the map's not there or the item's not there, purple. But I want to make sure that the camera sees it, that the angle is going into a nice setup for it. So let's hit enter. Race start, there it is. Huh. With this perspective, I think it would work a little bit better if it's over a little bit more. So let's stop the game. I'm going to make one more change to this. Let's make sure it's farther over like that, because we want to save this half of the screen in order to see everything else or to get the UI up. So let's rewrite that position and try it one more and see if this works better. All right, now enter. All right, that works nicely. Z camera returns, enter. I do like the car following speed on here. Hey, wait, did I hit enter? Am I running the race right now? Oh, the timer started. I hit enter. I was wondering why this other one stayed up. So we completed it. We've got a race value of best pace for 12. Enter. Good. We got 100 credit from that. Exit to save. This task is done. All right. Save it now. What is next? I need the task for this one. So let's go over to here. Do I have Asana up? No. Asana. There. All right. Vigilante. What was this one? Profile selection, race end. Race end is done. Oh, where is terminal? There we go. All right. Git dot git commit. What is this one? Dash M, and then the message. Race end is complete. UI. What is this one? The end target. Best times reload. Best times reload. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a key thing that I did this time. And enter. Now I need git push. It should only take a couple seconds to finish. Maybe, maybe not. Switch over to that one. Good. All right. Well, with this one, while it's finishing, there we go. Git push. There, that can push in the background while I look into the next task. All right, so we just finished the race. So we have race start, race end, and we have a design tool so I can just take these elements and drag them around, reconnect them. So if I select this one from the scene view, scene, uh, why can't I select that? There we go. It shows me its connection to the endpoint. And actually, let's take this one and move it. I should take that one. Let's turn on snap right here. That should still be visible from that same point. I'll just do that one. All right, so we put it in a new spot, so we should still be able to see it. Now, what's the target? What's the next task target that I need? Inside of this, we have profile selection. Profile selection, find mechanic. Uh, find mechanic might be the. Oh, no, no, no. I still have one more thing before the race is complete. I don't have the ability to find the race on the map. Do I show it on the map? It would help orient towards where we are, but it's not a requirement. It's got a big green symbol indicating when you can see it. So you just drive around and you find them. If I show them on the map, then you can find them all a lot easier. But in this case, it gives you something, a reason to explore the game. All right, what is next then? Mechanic. I guess that's it. Find mechanic. So first off, mechanics need to be able to be visible. There won't be very many of them. We might have like maybe 6, one for each primary side of the game cube that we're in, or the city cube. All right. Oh, I'm moving this stuff. Stop it. Right there. Turn off the snap. The snapping tool lets me just automatically align things to any surface that I want to by dragging. That is in one of my other videos, so you can find the snap tool, and this is a slightly modified version of it. What am I calling it here? Snap. There's the snap code. Yeah, it doesn't show everything. Oh, I actually got this. There's the YouTube video right there. All right, cool. I'm just going to post that in here. So if anyone happens to see that and wants to get the other clip, you can find it there. There are some modifications from this one to what I'm actually, or to what's on the Fiddle site that this YouTube video will reference. But it's not that major. I think it's primarily that I've added hotkeys. Oh, this one doesn't have the hotkeys. No, this is the one from the site. Okay, cool. I'll just leave it as is. No, no, no. In one of my other projects, I didn't update to this, where it does have hotkeys, so you actually have to press a key to make it realign, rather than just being automatic with every mouse press, because that really interferes with it. Okay, so start game, race, start game. Yes, okay. Finding the mechanic. That's what I need now. I need to find the mechanic. So back in the game, what else do we need on the mechanic? Mechanic. Find mechanic. Is that it? I'll do profile selection. Profile selection is secondary. This one, you know what? I'm going to push profile selection to later. It's an ignore for now. Do I have something else that I need for the profile selection? No. Basically, profile selection is that I can now make multiple saves in the game, but to begin with, we'll just have one save game. You go into the game and you can start it. And maybe I'll create a menu item to delete the save, so you can basically restart your game if you want. Now, but an upgrade. That'll be an upgrade for later. Now, what have we got? We got profile selection. We're skipping that one. I'm going to minimize this. Okay. Now, find mechanic. What goes on in this one? Add mechanic, Add mechanic points. Points, locations. Okay, add mechanic locations +1 at starting location. So there needs to be one where I am starting on the map, or very, very close. Like it would make sense that this is where I am. So I am starting over here. Let's put the mechanic shop like right here. And then that also means that this is my drop-off depot, so I can actually see both of those very quickly when I start the game. Or you know what? Why don't I put it here? This is my mechanic shop. Okay, so now I need a model to represent it. Let's go take a look at some of the models. First off, let's go to this one. Where is the material? Not the material, I want the mesh. Cube 013. All right, gate. Do we have a better material choice? What's going on with the material? Did I lose all of my settings on this? Why can't I? I really need to see what's going on with this. That's the model. The model's pulling in whatever it originally had. So I don't want this. I want prefabs. I ended up pulling the material at the end, or pulling the item at the end. But let's go to doors. Do I get to see the item here? Yeah, okay. I can see this one. So gate D, no. Rail. What else do we have? Equipment. I need something that's going to look like display case, equipment. No. Maybe? Oh, what do we have? Props. Ladders, partitions, top-down walls. Do we have a special wall? One wall. All right, with this, I need something big enough for the car to get into. Well, technically, in the lore, the cube entry is supposed to be as big enough for a general car to fit into as well. What's 3 walls? Oh, got it, because it has more walls around. There we go. Not what I'm looking for. Stairs, props, pipeline. What's it? Barrels. I need it to stand out. What do we got for ZZ light? What is this light point? Nothing that we can see. It's just literally a light. Floors fill, centimeters ladder, clear center, block center. No. Floors. I need some kind of lighting on this. Let's go for a different door type. Okay. Yeah. That sounds good. Hey, wait. Okay. Um, all right, that's the one I'm using. We're going to drag this door over to here. That is way too small. So let's do a scale of, let's do 3. That feels way too big. It should barely fit. 2. All right, let's see how this one is. We're going to drag it down. I need this one to stand out. I need these ones to really appear and show up within this system. So I need a sign. I need a mechanic sign. Let's just make it painfully obvious what it is. We're going to put a holographic sign up. So to display that, we need a GIMP. Actually, I could also use the editor for this one. So let's go over to here to file new image. Sure, that size, whatever. And it's transparent to begin with. And now we're going to add text. So yeah, whatever. We'll take it to this size. All right, mechanic. And let's add a symbol to that as well. So that's red center. We're going to fill it with white. Let's go, the fill, let's make it transparent. I can't. Fine. We'll go black then for the fill. That's not showing anything. Do I need to set, we have to highlight the text that we want. All right, that works. Now that I've got that one, let's increase the font size. Okay, good. We got that one. No, I want the logo in there. Let's reduce that down just a little bit. Font size. Sure, that works. Now let's move this over. A mechanic label should be easy enough. Where's Font Awesome? There's Font Awesome. Now in Font Awesome, let's get out of this one and do a search for mechanic. Gears, wrench. Let's do wrench. Tools. That one kind of collides up a little bit. We get something better. Primary color, black. Gears. I guess I'll do that one for now. All right, gears. And select this. Yeah, let's do that. So print screen, copy, copy. All right, now that we are in here, we need to take the first one and get rid of it. So this we're going to set to a transparent fill to here, here, and here. Next, I want to do a white fill for this and this. It's got too much outline. Let's increase the tolerance. That works. All right, Control A C, and now let's go back to the mechanic. What? Oh, I don't want the cursor. Delete. Now this one shows up. Let's put this like maybe there. It's hard to see in this. I wish I really had the ability to change the grayscales on the back so that it could stand out. It probably is a setting inside of here. In fact, I'll take a quick look. Image, import, settings. Where do I have settings? Editor preference. Okay, editor. Now inside of this, I don't see anything about colors. Light gray. Let's go for black. That only affects the primary background. Edit. Editor preference. Anything else on that one? No, nothing that I can see. Cancel. All right, save it. Now inside of here, I need to save this particular setup. Where is this? We are in Vigilante textures. So now I want this to be mechanic label, PNG. And let's also go to this one, Control S, and this one should be mechanic icon. There. Mechanic icon will show up on the map and mechanic label will show up over the surface of it, which I should have Supply Depot show the exact same thing. What? Oh, I gotta get rid of that one. That should work. And over there, that should work. Now, back to the game. Let's put a UI display on this. Now, to begin with, we've got some displays that were in here. So, equipment. Maybe one of those. I just need, I guess this one will do. Let's drag this one into the scene. That is very tiny. So let's go to a scale size of 4 by 4 by 4. That looks much better. Now I need a new material for this one. So let's go for mechanic material. Alt L. No, not Alt L. This one is supposed to be the, what did I call it? This one's called B2 door. We're going to make a change to it. This is now F2 mechanic entrance. Enter. Okay, mechanic entrance. And now on this one, we got the mechanic entrance. This becomes part of mechanic entrance. So now the sign needs a new material. Let's get rid of the current objects that are here. And we're going to go create a new material in Vigilante 41. All right. This needs to be mechanic. Material is mechanic sign. All right, now let's go for texture and let's say mechanic label. That one is all white because I don't have textures on here yet. Let's drag the mechanic sign onto here. And where is the actual content for this one? We need alpha clipping. No, we don't. We just want to turn this to transparent and turn off alpha clipping. How many times are you going to rewrite this shader? Okay, that looks better. Now we need to set the actual texture. So where is the texture? That is here. Select the label, and we need transparency. Apply. Perfect. Now we go to the mechanic icon, set transparency, apply. Good. We got all that stuff set into there. Now the material, let's go back into the material and make sure I've got the settings on this. Mechanic sign. We have alpha, front, transparent, blending mode, additive. What is this extra material going on here? Do I have an extra? What is mechanic sign made of? Let's go over to the mechanic sign equipment 4x4. What's the background of this one? Cube 97 materials. Okay, show me this material. What is this mesh? No, all of that's got a nice shiny mesh. This one has more of a matte finish, but it's not what I'm seeing at the back of this. Okay. Okay, let's just get rid of the background sign and drag this over to the front. Cancel. Control D. So we produce that background, put it over there, take this, delete. All right, we got mechanic here. Yeah, fine. It doesn't need a sign. I can improve that later. Let's increase the size of this information though. So this particular piece should be 4 by 4 by 4. There. That makes it pretty easy to recognize mechanic. Supply depot will be on that side. With the icons that'll show up in the map, that'll make it easier. Now, we got B2 sign. This one needs to be mechanic label. Okay, now the next thing that I need to take care of is that it actually renders properly with, I need it to glow. So we got the mechanic sign. Where are my, okay, we got emission here. Takes a while for that to bake into it. Let's set the emission color. Now let's give it a color in here. Mechanic shop should have a color, I guess green. Light blue? Sure, let's go with light blue. Now increase the, how that's going to stand out. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Too bright. Okay, now let's see how that looks in game. I'm going to start out right next to this so I get to see what it looks like. Let's change over back to that one while this is loading and back into here. Enter. Okay, that brings up the visual. In fact, whoa, what's all this? Okay, you gonna finish compiling shaders? Okay, if I have the car turn just a little bit, I'll get this area, I'll get this item and that item to show up initially for the player. So I think the introduction location should have a rotation of something like this. Or the position of the drop off needs to be changed to like maybe over here so I can still see that there's like a holographic sign to pay attention to. All right, so now I've got this, but it's not on my map. I have a truck coming up. Where's the truck? You're right down here. Okay. Yeah, I would say that that size matches up well. It's easily visible. Let me move a little bit away and see what this still looks like. Okay, still pretty easy to tell that it's there. Mechanic shop, but I don't have an item showing up on the map. This truck would show up as this little dot right next to my car, because if I point straight at it, then you can see it's kind of overlapping towards the front. Move there. Now it's like straight up there and it's turning off to the side, so this is turning off to the side. I need to create an icon. Well, let's grab one of the other pieces in here. So I'm on this. No. There. What? Did I change the key on this? No. Okay, that's two pieces of freight, and now I hit enter, and now I can see the supply depot show up. Okay, so the supply depot is just to the side of me over here. So if I turn, point straight at it, there it is. That should get the supply depot access there. That tells me drop off these cubes over at it. So I need to get something similar to show up in its map to point out this location. All right, let's do it. That means that I need to know where all the mechanics are, just like I have the supply depots. So do I have a supply depot script in here? System. Okay, traffic designer, freight, drop off. This is the drop off system. This tells me all the drop offs that are in there and it automatically loads itself. Let's duplicate this to make that. All right, drop off system, go into the code. There we go. I drop off system that creates that, which is currently based off of an instance. We're going to change that over to locator. It collects the drop off points, which also means this needs drop off points. The drop off points, the mechanics. I don't think the mechanic really needs anything special. The car is what's going to hold all the information about its configuration and settings. Okay, but drop off system. So now that we've got this drop off system inside of here, let me stir that a little bit. Cool. Drop off system. Now the new one is the mechanics. So I need a mechanic point. Okay. Mechanic shop, I guess. Mechanic point. Mechanic point feels like it's something to do with mechanics of the game or a point that we get from the mechanics. And so I want to separate that out, rather call it mechanic location, mechanic spot, mechanic shop. Let's just go with shop. Shop is where we buy stuff. If I add an actual shop later, it'll probably be different than the mechanics. Yeah, why not? Combine them. Shops. Okay, so inside of here, we're going to create the, where is this one? We have drop off points. So drop off system is here. Drop off points has a few pieces of information. Let's go ahead and just create a new one. Uh, I guess I'll go with this one. Drop off system. Where's my drop off point? There it is. Show me where that is in the code here. Thank you. Now let's take that item, Control D. That doesn't work in this. Control CV. The drop off point is now going to be mechanic shop. All right. Mechanic shop. Maybe chop shop. No. I'm not getting rid of cars. All right. Enter. Uh-oh. Did that change the other one too? It wouldn't surprise me if it did. So I have mechanic shop over here and I have drop off point. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Uh, drop off point. Drop off point has not been bothered. Okay. Drop off system. Let's make sure that that one hasn't. Drop off system, we update, we take control of freight. Drop off point. How do you manage the drop off points? Credit manager, drop off points. Oh, over here, drop off point. Good. It's still managing the correct items. Okay, next. So mechanic shop, we have this one. Individually, we need to know the anchor point. No. We don't need the anchor point. We just need to have ourselves close enough. So we don't need an anchor. Got it. Public float force. No, we don't need it. Close enough. 1. We're going to change this to 10. To get right up there. 10. Okay, drop off range, not needed. Delete. Freight target, we don't need any of this stuff. We can add it as we go. So delete, we've got awake. Start, we will be doing registration. We don't need to take control of anything. That's going to go away. All right, update. No, this won't do anything, so we won't have an update in there either. Okay, start. What's going to manage whether or not we are close enough to one? It's the car action. Car action is responsible for it, but that is, we're going into a mechanic section now, and so car mechanic has already been, car action has already been getting over, it's overflowing with extra, has too much responsibility. I was trying to find the right words there. Okay, so we don't need to register this with a drop-off system, but we do need to register it with a mechanic shop system. So let's create a mechanic shop system. And that so far was a duplicate of drop-off system as well. So let's duplicate that. Control CV. And this one's going to become shop system. Mechanic shop system. All right, so we have a mechanic shop system, and this is going to be mechanic shop system. No, don't want updating. Control C, I'm going to replace that. Now, this is the mechanic shop system. All right, in this case, we do want to register the point that we're in, and do we find the closest? Yeah, I guess there's only like 6 mechanic points, so it's not going to be that bad to do a lookup for every single one of them every frame. I'll do that for now, and I can improve the operations of this later. But there's really not much to it. All right, so inside of this instance, we're not going to be using an instance. Instead, on awake, we are going to say locator.set, and inside of this, it is iMechanic shop system, and this. Okay, so now other things will be able to find me when it needs to. Next, register point, register shop. We're going to change this to register shop. Just register. There we go. So it's the iMechanic shop system, and now this is going to be mechanic shop and shop. So let's modify the existing function that's there. Cool. Now we have drop-offs. This shouldn't be a drop-off. This is a list of mechanic shops. So we will call it shops. Okay, so now we got the shops, and now it's going to be shops dot add shop. Good, that adds it to it. Inside of here, during the start, we're going to take the drop-off system and add that. So we need to know the drop-off system. So let's go find it. Do we need to know very long? Is there anything about the mechanics that's going to change over time? Basically, what I'm thinking about is the locator service. How much is it going to need to know about this? Like, will it need to update? And there's nothing to save about individual mechanic shops. Where the player comes back, that just happens to be next to mechanic shops. So ideally, what I'm setting this up for is that after you go into a mechanic shop, it automatically saves. Whatever you do inside of a mechanic shop, it is saving your game state. So that way, when you leave, you're leaving from that location. All right, drop-off system instance register point this. Okay, which is not drop-off system. That's not what I want. So let's go to public I mechanic shop system shop shops. Sure. Okay, now we need to obtain this. So we're going to say locator dot observe, and inside of here we're going to say I mechanic shop system, and that one is, what is that, just S. There. S, and did that put anything weird at the end? No, it didn't. Good. So now in this one we're going to say this dot shops equals S. So we obtain the value. That's going to be done before awake is finished. Now instead of here, by the time start happens, we can trust that it's already there. So once we observe it, we set the shop, we should just register it right then. I don't need to actually store it. That's what I was questioning in this one. I don't need to store it. So instead, I do need to register it. So this dot let's call it shops. So shops dot register and this. That's it. We don't need a start function in here anymore. That registers it. So now it's going to have it. We have the close enough range. It doesn't need a force that's in here. This will be handling the UI startup for it. Okay, but now we have a mechanic shop. We'll be able to get the position. I can add it to the map. The mechanic shop system, information that I'm going to need for here. So inside of this, we got the shops. We got drop off point find closest is going to change to mechanic shop find closest. And that one is going to be stored over here. Mechanic shop find closest. Everything in there appears to be correct. So let's also get rid of the extra things in here I don't need. Okay, on the mechanic shop, we want to find the closest. So we're just going to go through each one and figure out which one's the closest to us. So in this case, it's shops and shops and shops. Anything out of this? No shops. Out of range, most likely from no shops in level. So this comment right here, if I get an exception and it brings me to this line of code, then that gives me a clue as to what I'm looking for. And so I don't really need the exception to explain that detail. I just need the exception to point me out to the line, and then I can see the comment that's on it. All right. Okay, so inside of here, distance HQ, current SQ, distance squared, it's just to the shops, square magnitude, position. Everything is named reasonably well for this. No other comments. Okay, find position, find the closest one. So we get the closest. That should work. All right. I suppose I could show every single one of them. Nah, we'll just get the closest one and then we will display just that one. All right, let's do that. We do have one of these in here now. Oh, I don't have the mechanic shop in here. The code. Well, I can add the rest of the code and then update the references. Okay, so what do I need now? I don't need a menu. I need our map system. Where is our map system? Map view. All right, so here's the map. This one's busy. This one will need to become aware of the map locator, the mechanic shop system. There we go. All right, so it needs to check it regularly. So we're going to go public imap shop system. Oh, mechanic shop system. Shops shop system. Sure. All right, now I need to know the shop color. So let's go public color shop color equals color dot, and this one was another blue one. I need to make sure it stands out from the gray. Let's go with coral for now. I don't think I've used anything close to coral. Deep pink. Sure. Let's go with deep pink. I haven't used any deep pink. That's far enough away from the other ones. That also means the material for that color needs to change. So deep pink material. So the intensity, we're going to go with the deep pink. So that's somewhere around here. The intensity is still kind of high. Let's reduce that down. I want it to be seen, but I don't want the blur factor to take over like that. Okay, but this is too, I need the font size to be thinner. That's just an image update. Okay, let's go to the image and make a modification to it. So mechanic, I've got the text here. We're going to change the, do I have a line size? Advanced padding. No, I don't need padding. Opacity is 100%. Line width. Let's get rid of line width and change the color. So inside of this, we're going to change the color to white. There, that should do. Save it. Return to the game. Let's see what that does inside of here. Oh, it's not going to do a compilation update, so it might not get the graphics update either. Ooh, turn the shadow off of that. I don't want shadow. Where's shadow? We're going to turn that off. Save it. Return. Okay, that's better. Inside of here, it looks a little weird. Let's go to a different view just to... Cool. I think that's reasonable enough for now. I can tweak it more later. Now I need it to show up inside of the map system. So we're going to create a map system. No, we've got the map system. Where is it? No, there's an error in the code. Ugh. I wish the errors in the code, like normally when an error comes up inside of the code in Unity, you clear the list and the error stays there. But when hot reload is on, it displays the errors through hot reload, and that's a temporary error that does not reappear or remain after clearing the list. So that used to be my method for clearing everything away so I could see just the code errors and focus on them. Okay, map view line 41. It was clickable there. That works. Okay. I can accept that change. I'm happy with it. All right. Next. So I've got the mechanic. We set the mechanic shop. All right, what is the line that is broken? Compilation error. iMechanic shop system could not be found. Okay, iMechanic shop system could not be found. Really? Oh, Control Shift S. Save all the files. Go back to here. Recompile. Because in this one, this doesn't have a bug in here. This one seems happy. Oh, it's over here. iMechanic shop system, line 41. All right, let's go back into Unity. Okay, it's happy with it right now. So it just needed to recompile all. It was actually just fine. Okay. Now let's go over to the map view. No, that's on the car. Map view is on the car. Should just be a child element. There it is. Okay, so traffic color, shop color there. It doesn't need a reference to the traffic system or to the systems. I'm going to change those out later. In fact, this is probably a reasonable time to change them, but let's make sure my initial connections are working and I'll clean that up as an afterthought. Okay, so iMechanic system, we've got the iMechanic system. I need to gather it now. So in the awake function, I'm going to say locator.get, locator.observe, and I need the IMSS, iMechanic shop system. And inside of here, we're going to say, do I have any reason not to pay attention to this? This was only if it's going to change. If the values change while it's running, like the save game state will reload where cubes are, then the instances change. So I need to observe everything dynamically. In this case, I can just reply without a function. So I can do an inline function. So iMechanic shop system, this is going to be shops. Sure. All right, so we got the shops. Now, as soon as we observe this and we've got the shops, no, we need to store the record. Oh yeah, and we've got that up here. So this dot shop system equals shops. Okay, so now we are observing that we have the shop system. Now, when I am drawing stuff, let's go down to update. We're going to add another one here. If drop showing in-game circle, we need to find the right location for this. Drop off showing. So if the drop off is showing, then we're getting this stuff. We do need the closest point. There should be another one where I'm doing the closest point example. What does this one do? Local position. Do I get the closest point? All right, well, whatever. We will just set this up. So all mechanic shops will show up in this. No. We're going to just draw every one. No, I wanted the logo. I wanted the label. So this needs the drop off. This needs the icon instance. So the icon instance is underneath it. So we're going to give it something else. We're going to call this one the public transform. And in this case, public transform. I need this. So normally what I'm using is a tool called A-line. It's an asset from the Unity asset store that lets me draw simple lines, circles, dots, etc. And it's great for editing. And it also allows me to draw those same lines and use the same tools at runtime. Plus, it's also more performant than Unity's default debug lines. So I'm using that. However, that doesn't let me draw symbols. And so I'm using this to draw the map, like the little circles and stuff to identify cars and traffic and trucks and stuff. Those are simple enough. However, for some of them, I really want the icons. So let's put the icons in, and I've got a drop off instance icon. I need another one. So transform. And this one needs to be a shop instance. shop icon instance. Okay, so we've got the shop icon instance. Now the drop off icon instance, that's where we're updating this one. We're setting it to visible, etc. How do I not show it? I must have a function that gets rid of it. Anyway, we're going to now say we need the closest location, and we're going to have it show that one. So we're going to say, what is our closest location? um, this will happen every single frame. So var drop offs, var shop offset equals, and that's going to be shop dot closest, find closest, and that needs to be to transform map view. Yeah, transform dot position. So it's the closest to our position, and that's returning a vector 3, right? No, it's returning the mechanic shop. So transform dot position. All right. Okay, so the shop offset, the shop position or the shop offset is that one minus transform dot position. Okay, so this gives us the real world offset. Now we need to multiply this by world scale. So world scale is basically like somewhere between 1 and 10% of where it is. So we basically take its offset of where it is from the car, the difference from the car, and then we just reduce that down. So if the object's over here and the car's here, it actually just kind of zooms in so it's closer. And that's how we create this 3D holographic map that appears around the car. All right, so in this case, var scaled shop offset equals shop offset times world scale. Okay, this dot shop icon instance dot local position So the map shows up directly around the car, and so this map view is attached directly to the car. So its central position is our own stuff, and that means that when we set local position, that's identifying that it is local to the car. And so it automatically aligns with it, with the rotation and everything that we need, rotation, scale, etc. I suppose I could have just kept everything at the same position and then just modified the scale of it. That would have been perhaps easier. All right, because it already has to do additional math. Consideration for a future. All right, now in this one, local position equals this dot transform dot inverse transform vector. Whoa, I don't want a duplicate view. Let's just do that. Was it transform vector? Point. Transform inverse transform vector. All right, and then that one is going to be scaled shop offset. All right, let's put this as a multi-line there. Makes those easier to read. Okay, so we set that one. Now I need to actually have that item in there. So let's go back into the view, into the map view. All right, we have drop off icon over here. Where's drop off icon? Can I get to it? There. Technically its position doesn't matter. We're just going to duplicate the same thing. It's got to look at camera, so it'll look at the same point, and we're just going to duplicate the object. Control D, and we're going to call this one shop icon. Okay, shop icon. And now we need the shop icon. So set render queue. The render queue is so that it actually renders above everything else, that I can see it over the car when the car overlaps the same position. Let's move that to live. Okay, focal point that does get set. Uh, oh, I'm not setting the focal point here. No, 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 I don't think I need to. Look at camera should be setting the focal point for me. I honestly don't even remember what that does right now. Let's go in here. Focal point. Look at camera. Focal point becomes the main camera. Got it. So that's just telling it what it's supposed to look at so the icon always shows up. Now I do need the materials. So right now we're using drop off icon. We're going to hit Control D and we're going to change this to uh, mechanic. Oh, F2. Mechanic shop icon. Okay, so we got mechanic shop icon. That sets this one up. And texture needs to change. We got that texture. We're going to change this over to mechanic icon. This one, I needed to set it to this one so that I can actually get all the view to show up, but I need the intensity to increase. Okay, shader graph, map icons. Okay, so I've got my own code for this one. Let's go find that particular shader edit. Thank you. All right, so now that we've got this one, let's also change the default texture. Where are you? You are here. Over to mechanic icon. There. Okay, so now I need an additional color that's showing up inside of this one. I need the color to expand. Basically, all you need, if I remember right, all you need to do is take the base color and multiply it in order to get the emissions to work on here. Actually, can I just add emissions? Add block node emission. Yeah, let's do it that way then. All right, HDR, so I need a color. Let's go over to here and create a color. Sure. So now the color, do we have HDR mode? HDR, thank you. So now I'm going to drag this in, put it right over here. There. Control S. So now if I were to go over to the emission color, and let's just test what that is. Let's move it up to like here. Set this. I'm not getting anything to show up, but let's start increasing the emission value. Okay, that's maxed out. I'm not getting anything on there. Emission doesn't show up inside of here. There's something else I need to change on this. So let's click away. Graph settings, single precision, unlit. Yeah, unlit, that's fine. Hey, come back here. Alpha, it's front side blending mode. Depth right, I don't care. Alpha test, alpha clipping, no, no, no. All right, I'm also going to take this and multiply. Let's do a multiplication here. Hey, come back. So let's also drop in color right here. And we're going to go to this and say multiply by A. And the other one gets B, and drag this one down to base color. There we go. That adds the color. And yeah, that works for me. Alpha should stay there. Let's put a little breakpoint in so I can actually just clean this one up a little. And I'll set that down there. Cool. That gives me all the stuff that I want. Save it. And I think that'll do what I'm hoping for. I might find that it doesn't, but I don't want to spend too much time on this particular issue. So let's save it. Next. Oh, that's got sign into chat. Okay, I think OBS might actually show me the stuff that I need to be able to interact with chat and get notifications. But I have to sign in separately. It can't do the web sign in separately. It doesn't use uh, any of my existing cookies to realize that I am signed in, including from its other tools. Whoa, I don't want that one. There. Okay, time 11:20. Okay, so what else have I got? We're gonna back out of that. No. Okay, cool. Now that we've got this information, let's go to, oh yeah, save that. We've saved this. Control SS. We're going to go back to scene view. And next I need to set the material. So let's go over to the material for that particular item, mechanic shop icon. And now it's got an HDR color associated with it. Perfect. Okay. So I can set that, and then I should be able to set the intensity. So we'll test that one. I can't really see what it looks like here, but I don't think this one's going to show the uh, alpha blending. What was it called? I just forgot. Bloom. I don't think it's going to show the bloom effect. So I'll have to see that in game. Now, let's make sure that I got the right icon. So shop icon is over here. Shop icon should already be visible. In fact, let's go right over here, set it in front of the car. Control Shift F. Now let's back up a little bit. There. That's not the right icon. Shop icon needs, did I set the other one? No. Okay, good. So over here we've got the icon. We're going to set mechanic shop icon. Okay, yeah, that glows brightly. Let's go affect or alter the icon settings. We need the intensity to drop down a bit. Like that. Sure. Okay, how's the scaling of this? Well, I guess we'll see in just a moment. So, play. Will this work? No, I don't update the position anywhere. All right, so next I need to start updating positions. I need to get the mechanic system in here. So let's go into here, create empty in our systems, and this will be mechanic shops. Now I need inside of here, shops, mechanic shop system. So shops has nothing in there to begin with, but that puts our system in there. Next, I need the mechanic shop, which is over here, and I don't need a script to open the door. That's not going to be part of the game right now. Remove component. Inside of here, we are now going to prefab and unpack completely. This is going to go into our own prefabs, which will be, where's our prefabs? Prefabs. There. All right, we got the mechanic. That's in there. Now, our mechanic object does need some updates. So inside of here, add component, mechanic shop. Excellent. Close enough at 10 meters. So once we get within 10 meters, I should probably have some symbol on the car to indicate that we're close enough to make it active. Or maybe something visible that changes about this. But I think an icon on the car to indicate that we have an action that we can do. Like we can use the mechanic, we can use the drop-off depot, we can pick up freight, or, well, any of the other things. We can start a race. Okay, so now inside of here, close enough, 10, we got the mechanic shop. I think that'll do it. Save and play. Let's see if we're missing anything. Oh, we are definitely missing something. Look at all this that's not been set in the map view. All right, let's go off to the car. Car has a map in here. It needs the drop-off icon. So inside of that one, that is the shop icon. This one. Save it. Car, and this one is our own. So overrides apply all. And play. Enter. Okay, that's showing that the mechanic shop is right next to us. As I turn around, I can see the icon showing up in here. I zoom away, it's farther away. So there's my mechanic shop. As I turn around, I can see it again. Getting closer. All right, so that works for me. Now, let's see, that solves one of the items. So let's go stop. Oh, I've got all this. What is this one? Reduced additional punctual light resolution by 4 to make 18 shadow maps fit to 24. Ooh, okay. So this is giving us information to improve our shadows. Cool. In this case, reduce the additional lighting punctuation. The lighting, those symbols are affecting the light. So I just added these ones. We need to get rid of them. Why? What items are affecting this? Anyway, let's go to the materials. Not from the materials. Let's go to shop icon. Make sure shadows are turned off. Probes. I don't need probes on ray tracing. Additional settings. Cast shadows off. Okay. Um, that one's in there. Good. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. Cast shadows off. And we're not affecting blend probes or using them. All right. So we got those ones inside of there. Clear. Save everything. Now I need the console. All right. Git add dot git commit dash m. And what is this one updating? We are updating. Okay. Mechanic prefab. Mechanic shop prefab generated. Also shows up on map. All right, that's saving the changes to that one. All right, and then git push. All right, well, that's running in the background. Let's take a look at what the next part of that task is. Okay, so add mechanic location. Yes. Needs visual model. Yes. Mechanic shows up on holo map. Shows up on 3D map. 3D map. Yeah, and I'm setting it on the world map. That's effectively what the 3D map is. World map with symbol marker. That one's also done. Oops. Okay, mechanic shows up during race. No exclusion at this time. I can test that to see if that one's done. All right, start. Enter. And start race. Okay, it still shows up. Good. Oh, and there's the direction I'm heading to. I don't have the buttons split up anymore. Why did I lose? Okay, so it took us 16 seconds to get to this one. Okay, so both strafe and down are being affected by the same button. I already fixed that and I keep losing changes that I've made to both UI and also to the input system. Like it's not saving it. Autosave. Turn on autosave. Okay, so anyway, that part is the map icon stays there. So that checkpoint is done. Where's Asana? Okay. Uh, Windows dot, enter there. Now, pressing pause near it raises a special pause mechanic UI. Oh, yeah, so I need the UI to be in there. Do I have anything? No, this doesn't actually use the mechanic yet. That's another task, but I just need the. It's not the pause. No, it's the action key. So pressing action. raises the special action mechanic UI. Okay, so I do need to generate the mechanic UI. Mechanic UI is not completed in this task. When entering, it stores our position and rotation. We're going to change that. When entering, it saves. Okay, and on start, if none is saved, save initial starting point to it. That's joined into this one. We'll be saving that gets all the save state with it. Okay. Stop. There. So I've got three things. Next, I need the UI. This one is technically not part of this task. I'm just going to get rid of that line. So it's just calling out a detail. So I've just got these two steps left to do. I need the UI, the mechanic UI, which is going to be similar to this UI needs to be different. I need this UI to go across the top. And if that's the case, then the offset for where it shows up, I should have it show the car, but the car isn't going to have visual changes from this. I could set its color. I could at least give the player color customization. That would be pretty easy to add, but I've got 4 hours on the use mechanic. Find mechanic. I'm almost done with this one, and this has been a lot less than 4 hours. Okay, because I've got the other systems in place, and I don't think I think I was setting up Mechanicus first for showing up on the maps. No, that was definitely not it. That's always been last. Anyway, so the estimate's low. Use Mechanic's going to be higher, though. We'll see about that. Yeah, I don't need to save. Okay, so now pressing action raises the mechanical UI. Let's get that mechanical UI up there. I suppose I should, in this one, I should also separate out the UI elements from the other previous one. Let's heat this up. All right, what's next? UI. So let's go create a UI project. Here's my UIs. No, that's the scripts for them. UI down here. Pause game, menu game, in-game start. Which one do I want? I could start it off one of these existing ones. In-game header? No, definitely not. Okay. I guess it's closest to pause game. We've got the ability to resume, to exit, to return to drive. I guess drive button will be it. Duplicate. Control D. Mechanic UI. Enter it. Okay, now this one's going to be different in how it gets set up. It's supposed to, I guess it's going to be more full screen. So let's adjust this one. What have we got for the size of the element? I go to this element. Do I have something on the width or the size that sets it? Why is this border so far? No, I have visual elements above and below. What is affecting the fact that this is not filling the space? Oh, it's just because of the width that's locked there. Let's consume the full width. Line items, justify content. There. Okay, so now I'll put this button in the corner. I don't need the bottom element anymore. Okay, so I have a visual element on top. Let's also align a visual element to the side here. I need additional spacing to be set up. I guess I'll just have different drop-down sliders, or different values where I can set the fields and inputs. I have to think about what I'm going to do. I'm not doing that yet. That's the next task. Okay. At this point, I just need the drive button and for it to save. So this one, we're going to call it drive button. And we're going to change the text to drive. All right, I will set up a panel on the bottom. So visual element, we're going to put this here. Okay, now we're going to put this one inside of it. And this visual element, we are going to, this little piggy, this visual element, we are going to align it to the side. Okay. And what else? I think, oh, no. Consume the full space, but align that to the side and set it at the bottom. Do I care? All right, right there for now. I'll adjust it further as I need to. So return to drive. Let's give it a little bit more padding on this. So where's my size spacing? So, oh, 2, 4, why are these numbers all so far off? Let's go with 10 and 10. Okay, that's a little nicer. Okay, save. This was drive button. So we have drive button. Drive button will return us to play. Let's create the code that gets us into there. So we've got mechanic UI, the script settings that get us in there, that's in here. So I could take one of these menus, not pause menu. Let's go to race start menu, because that one we get in there by an action. So let's follow the same pattern. Control CV. No, Control D. That's race start menu. We're going to change this out with mechanic menu. All right, mechanic menu. Now let's go into the code. Mechanic menu. Okay, it has a reference to the UI document. We're also going to set this stuff. Control C, instance. This, we're setting the locator for mechanic menu. Got it. Okay, cancel button. It no longer has a cancel button. It has a drive button. All right, this one is going to be drive button. Good. We're going to take this, set it up here, drive button. We're getting rid of the labels. We don't have any of that stuff in there yet. We do have car race. Do we need it? No, but we do need to know information about the car physics. So we need car. All right, on this one, we're going to call it car and car. Cool. Cancel and action. We're going to need both of those items. So cancel and action. Cancel and action basically do the same thing. No, in this one, they're going to have differences. So action will change whatever it is that you are highlighting. In this one, we are going to need the ability to select different elements on the menu. So we'll need the arrow keys, the move keys, to give us that ability to go from one to the next. All right. And then once we click on one, we're going to need to change the state. We need to highlight that one and then allow us to change the state and value of it. Oh, I lost this menu. There. I no longer need these ones. Okay, so when we click the drive button dot clicked, we're gonna not log the start button, but we are going to say return to drive. Okay, return to drive. That one should be handing it back off to the car action that's taking care of it. I do need sub functions. In this case, I think what I'm going to do to separate out the mechanic, not the mechanic, the car action. Car action is I'm going to create just subclasses that are not mono behaviors. Instead, they will just be classes and they will become child elements from within that. I suppose I could do that as structures as well. Do it as structures, put the functions inside of that. Maybe. I guess I'll do classes for now. I can polish it or improve performance later. Because there's way too many different ways that I would improve performance on this. I'm not paying much attention to that right now. All right, so set that back. Good. Next one. So on this one, we got start race, which is not what we're doing. We are doing return to drive. So we should have an open UI, hide UI, which we were going to dive back into that one. We've got cancel and start input, which should only happen while we are in control. So this is normal. We want the hide UI and show UI to take care of that. We do want the inputs to put them back. Oh, I got rid of those. Okay, what did we take over from this one? We took over a menu. No, or there we go. So we got those two inputs, and where are we dealing with it? No, it's in the show hide. So the only thing that we need are these inputs up here. It didn't have an error in it, did it? No, they're still there. We got the inputs there. It does not set them initially during awake. It sets them when we show the UI. All right, perfect. So now do we have a show UI function? We hide the UI because we don't need it when we first start. Okay, over here, start race, call. It's not start race anymore. It's not car race that we're interacting with. So start race, what are you doing? Anything interact with you? What? Mechanic menu. There on that one, we got start race. Anything set up you? Okay. Um, these ones are not going to operate the same. I'm going to leave this one blank. Start race, resume action. So let's create a function called drive. That should effectively hide the UI, which should return our pause state. But pause is not handled here. Pause is supposed to be handled over in car action. Car action is somewhere. I need to start getting rid of extra stuff. Save load system. I don't need anything from there yet. Drop off point, drop off points, race end, car race not needed, pause menu not needed, start menu not needed, car action. This is where we're going to be putting some of the code. The class is going to be getting bigger, but it's going to be split into multiple classes that I could put into multiple files. Sorry, the file's not going to be getting, yeah, the class is not getting bigger. I'm splitting the class up, but the file's going to keep growing. All right, now this is one is dealing with several sets of actions right now. So I need to create things to handle and split off those actions. And I need to figure out where that division of choice is going to occur. Um, Actually, there's two key things. The freight. So we got the freight. Every time that the freight we interact with freight, that takes precedent over any other system that we're going to interact with. So if we are next to a mechanic shop, but there is a piece of freight near it, and both of them are close enough to trigger the action, the freight will win because we could get into there. And if we drop a piece of freight next to a shop, we might actually block the shop and not be able to grab any of that freight. So I don't want to get stuck. I don't want the freight to get stuck somewhere. All right, so inside of this, I do need to split off this code. We do need two sets of, we do need to split this off. Oh, I need to isolate this code down. Let's comment out pieces that I don't need from here. I'm going to get rid of the other pieces of information I don't need. Control K C and Control K C. Anything else in here? That one. Control KC. I will be coming back to the mechanic menu to upgrade it, but I don't want it to break my current code. Ideally, what I want to do in this case is that since car action is growing too big and I need to split out the objects, I want to validate any of the changes that I make in splitting this one before I go any farther in generating the mechanic menu or even having something to show the mechanic menu. All right. Oh, that's why this stuff showed up before. Okay, cool. All right, so the classes I need. Let's create the subclasses. So public mechanic, public class, uh, freight action, and I need another one. Public class. Okay, public class. We got the freight action, and what's the other one? Race action. I think those are the only two things that I'm interacting with so far. It's got freight. The freight gets knocked off. That's handled separately. Yeah, we got two sets of actions that happen on here. All right, so to begin with, can I move one of these actions out? I guess technically both. I should move out both at the same time. A lot of these pieces of information are going to change. Oh, these are classes. I need them serializable so Unity Inspector can see it. So in this case, it's system.serializable. And same thing, system.serializable. Okay, so anything for the freight system needs to go off to the freight. So I'm going to take these, Control X, and put them in the freight action. And instead of having that, I'm going to say public freight freight fields and freight settings. Perfect. Okay, I am going to have to reset all those values, which is going to be a bit of a pain. I should probably take care of that first. Before I lose any of those values, let's duplicate it. Control C. Put these ones back in here. Okay, that keeps all those ones in there. Now let's also take the other ones for this stuff. I pause. All of it has to know about the pause state. So the core object should know about the pause. Next, we got car. We got the action input. Action input is, again, the whole class needs to know. But we've got car race. So let's take these ones, Control C, and put it down here. So in this case, since I'm starting to split these values out, I keep the values in both spots here. So there I've got that in that side, and I've got this one over here. Now let's create the additional settings that are in here. Public car race, public action. What is the class called? Race action. Public race action. Race settings. Okay, so now we've got freight settings and race settings. Save everything and return to Unity. Any errors? Ooh, with warnings. Unsupported changes. Got it. All right, so now we're going to go back over to scene view. And what am I looking for? I am looking for. Ooh, why do I have an error here? That one says it's happy. But I have a system over here. What was it? Not mechanic shops. Traffic event car. What class am I? Car action. That happens on car. Okay, let's take car action. It's getting bigger now, and let's just do a properties, which lets me bring this out to a larger view, and I will attach this here. Mm, I guess right here. No, I still need references to all of this stuff, so yeah, it'll just become its own. All right, we're going to focus on the car. We've got these settings, so the data is split. So to begin with, no freight is set. Okay, Max freight distance is 1,000. Is that what I want? No, I do not want the freight distance to be 1,000. We're gonna do something like 40. All right, that's fine. Freight anchor. That one is here. We're gonna reference it. The next one is drop off system. So the drop off system, I reference it here. Those I should be setting up via locator. All right, and the next one is the drop off point. We don't have that one referenced yet. That gets referenced dynamically. So the fields for this one are now set. Next, we have race settings. So we have the car, just drag that over, and we have the car race. We will drag that one over. Okay, now save this, save the scene, and return back to Unity, and we are going to get rid of the fields that we just had up there. So delete and delete. Oh, no, we don't want the pause or those references to go away. Can't start race. We're getting rid of those. Good. Now, it's not going to be happy about this stuff because we need to reference this through race settings and freight settings. So first off, drop-off point. This is freight settings. There. Um, race settings. All right, this one should be freight settings. Set to follower this dot car. Oh, car needs to be known by everything. So in that case, I need the car field to stay. So where did I store car? I store car over here. Control X. We're going to keep that one as a constant up here. Its setting will still be there. I just took it out of the other one, and now it's part of the general settings. All right, now let's go to here. Freight. Yeah, I don't need those ones yet. We're going to go continue through our actions and see what's broken. Okay, drop off point. This one is freight. 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 Now let's set this to find equal and pass that in through there, and on this one pass it through there. Enter and enter. Just make the spacing and line it up a little bit better. This one is kind of wide on what it's doing as well, so let's split that apart. Okay, why is freight complaining? Class name is not valid at this point. Did I have a reference to freight? Got it. So that one is freight settings, Control C. Let's go find it. It doesn't highlight this very well. Control V dot there. Freight dot settings freight. Okay. We got drop off point dot transform. In static context. Oh, got it. That one is freight settings dot drop off point. There we go again. Same thing. Freight settings drop off points. Freight settings freight. There. Dot. Okay, now freight settings dot freight again. Freight settings dot freight. And in this one, a lot of this code, I'm going to be shifting it and moving it over, but my first objective is to test that I've actually moved all the data and that the code works again at that point, that I can interact with the race and that I can interact with freight. Okay, so V dot and freight settings over here, Control V dot. Okay, map view, we got the same type of information, no red underlines. Code looks like it's happy. What is this? All right, save it. Let's go back into Unity. We've got some unhappy car stuff. Got it. This is now looking for car action. Can start race. What happened to can start race? Did I get rid of? Oh, I am calling on child settings. So car action dot, because this is not supposed to go to car action anymore. This is supposed to go to the child element. In this case, car race doesn't care anything about the freight stuff. So all of its functions should now be getting passed through the freight settings, not freight settings. It's, well, in this case, what do I call it? Freight action. Okay, so right now we have car action and we're taking a reference to that. Where do I get the car action? This dot car action? There it is. Okay, so the car action, there is only going to be one freight action, one car action. Do I need anything about the car action? I'm not sure where I'm going to put the functions, so let's keep it in car action for now. We'll keep the car actions there. So car action dot and can race. This is race settings. Can race start. Perfect. Car action dot race settings. Okay. That fixes both of those. Another one. Dot race settings. And last one, of course, is dot race settings again. Okay. Now, what about the freight drop off? Anything to do with that? Freight drop off, I don't think happened with anything else. The car race has menus. So this one had more things it was doing and taking care of. Now, let's go over to the code again. Make sure it looks happy. No complaints over here. Says it was able to do recompilation now. Okay. So we've got that car, we've got the setup in here. We can minimize these. We know we need the car, we need the action input. We'll leave it at those for now. We are going to need to put in a UI move to be able to select different UI elements. Okay, next, what do we have? Shop icon, base car. Okay, I don't need anything else with those. Oh, play. Let's make sure that this actually plays and works. Okay, so at this point, I need to be able to interact with freight and drop off freight. Enter. Now, on my UI, okay, there's 2 trucks up ahead. Where? Oh, there's one. Okay, before you get on the wall. There. Okay, can I interact with the freight? Okay, I did. And then that gave me a highlight of the map of where to drop it off. So that stuff's still working. Oh, I guess once I get close enough, I could put like a little highlighting circle around it to indicate that it's ready to use as an action. Okay, enter. Ow. It doesn't get pulled in though. This part's not working. Why? Okay. Let's go select what is the freight drop off point. So in the freight drop off, that's right here. Inspector. All right, freight close enough. We need to raise that. 1 meter doesn't work. The freight is larger than 1 meter in size. It's like 3 meters across. So unless it gets halfway embedded in the wall, it's not going to be able to get within 1 meter of that. So we're going to turn that one off. But freight was working. Okay, so that's a great start on it. But since I figured out what was wrong here, I want to get that one fixed. Let's go to close enough at 3. All right, Control S. Overrides, apply all. Save it and play. I don't need to test that other one now. I know that I finally figured out where the distance was. I just kept forgetting to deal with it. All right, enter. So now we've got that. Next one is I need the race. So let's make sure I can still interact with races. All right, I'm interacting with a race. Best time is unknown. Move forward. Oh, all right. Full interaction time is there. I got the 100 credits. Credits are working. All of that stuff was happy. Stop. Excellent. Okay. While this is in a good working state, I'm going to save the changes I just made. Git commit. No. Git add dot. Git commit dash m. And the message needs to be what items did I just do? Split car action into car partial split. Partially split car action into what one is this? We had mechanic, no, race action and freight action. All right, get push. Okay, so is that an item I can check off of the list? It's not in here. Um, Pressing action raises the special UI. I know I don't have anything in there yet, but I'm adding another one. This one is supposed to be what is the part that I'm doing right now? Add split apart, split the mechanic UI, split car action into freight and race actions. That's not actually done yet, so I need to do a little bit more code for it. What time is it? Oh, it's midnight. I think this is a good place to leave off for the night then. Um, yeah, let's call this a good place to leave it for the night so I can get some sleep. All right, go into here. I just committed everything. Uh, Git add dot anything else. Git status. Branch is clean. Okay, nothing. I should do that with capitals. Lan looks like Ian. All right. Nope. That one's in there. The game is saved. That's all committed. Right now, I don't have my network drive set up again. For the last month or two, I have ended up changing out my network, uh, which system on my network is supposed to be the network share drive. And then the entire drive system goes down for whatever reason. Like the computer, the OS has to get updated, and then the update crashes the OS or crashes the system. So we have to reinstall. And in that time, we move all the contents over to a different computer and set that up as the network share. Right now, it's my computer. And so that means that my git push is only pushing it to the same computer, just on a different drive. At least I have a backup. So I've got a backup of this one already. I'm also finding that I'm not liking Git because this is a 5.5 gig project, but with Git, it stores all the differences, all the history locally. And there are some minor things I can do to change this, but it's taking 24 gigs of space on my local hard drive in order to deal with a 5.5 gig project. Now, the library accounts for 10 gigs on top of that. So the .git is, or the .git file section is about point or about 7 gigs, maybe, or no, 10 gigs on the file system because it's made up of lots of small files. All right. Anyway, but yeah, I've got a system that I want to build, but because I keep wanting to use it while I'm working on this, but I'll probably do that as a project after this and sell it as something on the asset store. Okay, save it. That's it. I'm done. Good night. Oh yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Uh, Eamon X. All right, signing out.